I would like to tell you a story about how Roger and I started doing some things to change our lives to be able to get into van life. We, about 6 years ago, we were at this point where our kids had all moved out. We were empty nesters after having kids in our home for 25 years. So I especially was just at this emotional point where I was like, what am I doing with my life? I've devoted 25 years to having kids and raising them and pouring everything that I have into them. And that's what my life was about. And so I just was at this place where I didn't know what to do. And I was kind of sad, kind of depressed, and I was just ready for change. So I talked to Roger about it, and we just knew something was going to happen. We didn't know what, but we just knew something had to change. So I was listening to some podcasts, I was reading books, I was, really getting into podcasts and TED Talks. So I had stumbled upon this TED Talk on YouTube. His name was Adam, and he had started a blog called Man vs. Dead. This talk was what really changed our lives. And what he said, and what the name of the talk was called, What Does Freedom Mean to You? And I had never heard it put that way before. I had heard lots of other things, but what does freedom mean to you? And something about it just clicked in my heart, in my brain. And I've listened to the whole TED Talk. I think I watched it several times. And at that time, I had been journaling. I kind of go back and forth with journaling. Journaling and I have kind of a love-hate relationship. And I decided, you know what? I'm going to write down some of these things that are important to me. So I wrote down what I thought freedom meant to me. And then I went and talked to Roger about it, when he was home from work. And I was like, well, this is what freedom means to you. I mean, to me, what does it mean to you? And so we were able to really kind of chat about it and go back and forth. And a lot of my goals lined up with his. And it was really, really cool because it was kind of like the turning point for us. You know how sometimes you want your life to change. You can see what the future would look like if you changed. But it takes a lot of willpower and a lot of, tenacity to actually make it happen. So we just decided, okay, these are the things that are important to us. This is what, if we could have anything in the world, this is what freedom means to us. And I wrote down his notes, what he thought, and just kind of closed the book and left it there. I'm someone who really likes to pray, and so it's kind of like I wrote it down, I prayed about it, gave it to the Lord, but I would still go back. I would still go back to it and be like, okay, these are still our goals. These are still what freedom would mean to us. And this was probably about 6 years ago. Some of the things on the list, if you're curious, get out of debt, be able to visit family whenever we want. Another one was be able to help my parents remodel their home. Those are just a list of few. Family is very important to us, and being with family was one of our top priorities. And with our kids, doing their own thing, we just thought it was a great opportunity to try to figure out what we would do with our lives now that it was not about our children. Although it's never not about your children. Just gonna put that little piece of information in there. So Roger and I got really excited, and we started to dream and hope and think about what our list entailed and how we could make that happen. So instead of being sad, now I had a focus. Now I had a purpose. I actually started writing a blog about being an empty nester. I can leave the link for that there. Down below on this video. It's an empty nest blog, and then it kind of turned into a travel blog because we're very passionate about being able to travel. So we started to just take the steps to make that happen. I started listening to, or at the time I probably had already been listening to Mr. Money Mustache. I was listening to, oh gosh, what was the other one? There's another one I was listening to. Then a couple of years later, I found the Budgetnista, which I love her stuff. And just it's like the more you start listening to this kind of encouragement about, getting out of debt, stepping into those things that you really wanted to have, but yet you don't know how to take the steps to get there, things start to really line up for you, I feel. So we started doing that, and then it just was kind of like all these things started to fall into place. So we ended up moving from the town in Tennessee that we lived in, went back home, basically for me, to where my parents were. We actually moved in with my parents because Roger was going to be, remodeling their home with all of his manpower on the weekends and maybe weeknights after he got off of work. And to do that, we had to be right there to be able to access that. So, we were putting time and resources into that. So we loaded up a moving truck. Our kids helped us and helped us pack and all that good stuff. Our kids that were in Tennessee at the time. We had one in college still. And it was brave. I feel like it was very brave to do something like this because we left what we were comfortable. We left that. So for the last 5 years, we were basically remodeling my parents' home, painting and putting in new flooring and things like that, which was a really cool thing to see because this was my family home, and it just was really cool to watch it transform from being a little sad and tired to being new and exciting. And it was really cool too because we thought that there were no hardwood floors underneath, and it was just like one of those home improvement shows where you don't know what's underneath and then they pull up the carpet, and it was hardwood floors like the whole upstairs. So that was such a gift. We were so excited. So those hardwood floors got refinished, and oh gosh, it was just a great moment. I think I got pictures. I don't know if I got any video. But so yeah, for basically 4.5-5 years, that's what we did. And in the meantime, we were thinking about van life. We were thinking about being able to travel and, pursue the van life. And I've always loved tiny houses. Little did I know my love of tiny homes would lead me to probably the smallest tiny home I could get, which, yay me. When I tell Roger I like a tiny home, he's like, okay, I see your tiny home. I'm going to one up you. But so we actually found this van on RV Trader, or was it Van Trader? What was it? Van Trader? No, that's not right. You can answer. Was it RV Trader? And it had what we wanted as far as solar. It had what we wanted as far as, all the things that that come with the solar, the size. Roger was very, very adamant that he wanted to be able to park whatever we had into a regular parking space, because we went from getting an RV, getting a trailer that we could pull with a truck, all these different scenarios, hashed it all out. Tiny homes that you could pull, but for him, it's just so important for him to just be able to, turn down a dirt road if he wants to. He wants to be able to park into a parking spot and just like a regular truck. And so that's how we went to the smallest Ram ProMaster. I mean, no, it's not the smallest. It's the short version, 136 wheelbase, I believe. And there were things that were important to me. And, of course, the interior was important to me. I want to feel like my home is pretty. So that's, he was like, okay, I got what I wanted as far as, the bones of the van being what I wanted, so that he didn't have to start from scratch, because he's the builder in the family. But so he was very gracious about making the inside how I wanted it. And I'm very thankful for that. So of course I've got my shiplap, and I've got my butcher block countertop, and the pine ceiling, and the bedding, and then the cabinets. We splurged on the cabinets. Finding cabinets for a van, I think, is very challenging. We looked at regular cabinets that hang on walls, way too big. We really wanted a smaller footprint. We only have so much ceiling height, that kind of a thing. You can build them out yourself, which a lot of people do, but he was so done with building that and remodeling that he was actually very thankful to find these cabinets, even though we still had to put them together. But it just is so fantastic to see how just one little video that I watched 6 years ago put it all together and put it all in perspective for me and for my husband. And it was just the right message at the right time. What does freedom mean to you? And I just would encourage you that if you feel like you're in a place where there's so much more that you still feel like that you want to do or see, and you don't know how to take the steps to get there, just sit down and write it down. Write down what your goals are. Write down what your dreams are. And then come up with a plan. Just start somewhere. Even if it's, there's the whole debt snowball thing where you start with, a lot of people go with the smallest interest rate and start there. Other people go with the smallest loan amount and start there and work their way on that. I think for me, I had to have an accomplishment. So I'm pretty sure that we started with, okay, what is the amount that we could tackle to get rid of quickly, the smallest amount. So then that bill is out of the way. And even if you just start with that, it really gives you hope that you can continue to get out of that cycle of living paycheck to paycheck and being in debt. But that was huge for us. And I just would encourage you that, it's I don't feel like anything's too big. I don't feel like anything is too big to dream or to wish or to really think about what's left in your life. You're never too old and you're not too young, for sure, to really accomplish those goals and those things that are in your heart. So that is my encouragement for you today, that you would just take the first step, whatever that may be. Thanks for watching. I'm giving it a few seconds.
Great job, baby.
Thank you. Why aren't you turning it off yet? Just want to watch me. Just record me. Go ahead, go ahead.
Only one little boo-boo.
What?
Start with the lowest interest rate. Highest interest.
Highest rate. Shoot. Should we re-record that?
You're great. You get a bump.
Thank you. I've always wanted a bump.